Come join PleasurePassport.shop for a fun and playful destination of adult toys, monthly surprises, exclusive discounts, and a judgment-free, sex-positive community that offers comprehensive online education on safe sex practices and empowers individuals to shed shame and freely explore their sexuality. For those seeking love on a budget, they've created a Pleasure Passport newsletter and subscription box, which are both full of exclusive sales and giveaways every month. Discreetly delivered to your doorstep, these exclusive subscription packages offers limited time offers, discounts, and regular shipments of fun new toys to enjoy solo or with a partner. With Pleasure Passport, you can embrace your desires, indulge in safe exploration, and experience a world of pleasure without judgment or inhibition. Go journey together towards a more fulfilling and satisfying adult fun experience. Explore, learn, and enjoy the Pleasure Passport way. And now, when you check out, type in discount code EVO to get 20% off. That's discount code EVO. Link will be in the show notes. What are your goals for next year? I feel like I already said my goals, but I'm not talking about my podcast goals. I'm talking about my personal goals. What are your personal goals for next year? So this year I started out with a goal in mind, and that is to focus on my mental health. Somewhere along the road to that goal, I swerved into a detour and made many turns to get to this point where I'm at right now. I took some time off from the podcast, took a much needed vacation, road tripped to another state. The vacation was much needed. The everything to clear my head was much needed as well. Everything to clear my head was much needed as well. But I came back and continued to do what I love to do. This year was a setback. I'm going to say that right now. It was a lot of setback. Ups and downs, way too many downs. COVID finally caught up to me. It sucked. My diabetes came back with a vengeance. That sucked too. And one of my dogs passed away. My best friend, my boy. Ugh. This is still not easy to talk about, but he gave me the best 17 years a guy could ask for. Weeks later, I saw a ladybug on the ceiling and I was told it was a loved one coming to see you. I knew it was him. Of course, COVID sucks. COVID will always suck. Doesn't really matter. Just whatever. That wasn't an issue. I knew I would get better. I don't really care to talk about that. I took care of myself and took a few weeks off from any form of social media while I was ill. Done. Um, what I do care about is my diabetes. I, for sure, thought I had handled. I guess the big challenge workout at the beginning of the year wasn't enough. I was down for the count. For those wondering, several years ago, I created a workout challenge with several dozen online friends. It was a group effort, lots of accountability. Someone took those stats and made a copy of the challenge. And I for sure thought I was going to be able to hang out, but I held my own. I'm not shitting on it. I really am not shitting on it. It was its own thing. I shouldn't have said, you can have it. I shouldn't have said, I'm passing down the torch. I shouldn't have said, I'm going to retire. Because I miss it. I miss making challenges. I miss making myself accountable. I miss working out the way I had those workouts. So I shouldn't have said that. Um, I I'm going back on that. I'm going back on that word, I guess. Oops, my bad. Um, Another thing I wanted to do was interview those people that were in the challenge, but nothing came of it. They were scared. They didn't know what to do. What's a podcast? Come on. Like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. No, you didn't do it. Um, I'll go more in depth on this challenge in another episode. But I hate to spoil the part that the diabetes does come back even after I tried everything um, this year. It was bad. So this is the part where I ask, what are your goals for next year? As of right now, I'm sitting on what I should do for next year. Do I start another challenge and bring back every crucial move I ever did, and along with that, talk about another podcast and include streamers that I've met throughout the year? Or do I start a solo challenge and worry about myself, but possibly motivate others? What should I do? I've always said I was going to do things, but I never said them on the podcast. Those things that I did say on the podcast, I take accountability and I end up doing them. This podcast is about to become big in the next 5 years, starts in January. I am accountable for that. However, my health is a different story. Over the weekend, there was a tweet from a podcast account that the person behind the podcast had passed away due to cancer. My heartfelt condolences go out to her friends and family. Her podcast was called Quirky Jams Podcast, Happiness and Living Life to the Fullest. What a great title for a podcast. It was about mindset, motivation, health, and fitness. I went to check her Instagram, her post, and saw the many messages she has received and what kind of legacy she is leaving behind. All I kept thinking is that she lived her life to the fullest until she couldn't anymore. And she talked about it on her podcast. She lived her life. A podcast colleague has fallen, and all I can do is just sit here and say my condolences. So, what am I going to leave behind when I go? A little dark, I know, but hey, I know the person that said I was going to die September 23rd, 2028 was rude about it. We know. I'm not going to take that seriously. And I shouldn't have listened, of course. I didn't. But I did call it the expiration date of the podcast. That that's probably the final time I will ever do a podcast if it doesn't blow up. But what I am going to leave behind if a tragic event does happen to me, what am I going to leave behind? The podcast is my legacy. I'm going to leave behind with lots to say, lots of opinions, lots of bad takes, lots of good takes. Wrestling, anything for that matter, whatever. Lots of interviews with friends, lots of interviews that I want to do. But overall, I want to make sure it was a journal for me for all the things I have ever accomplished. Wrestling with Diabetes Part 1 and 2 and 3 talked about my fight and how I came back from it. But I have yet to talk about the in between stuff. The story's not over. The story hasn't ended. So, what are my goals for next year? I still have Greg Plitt on my mind. He was a motivation for me. He was my inspiration. He passed away back in 2015, but I still have his words on my mind. I still have his words echoing throughout my head. Grab your nuts and be it. You heard him on the last episode. I want to be this, I want to be that. Well, then grab your fucking nuts and be it. I went back to check those speeches on YouTube. I remembered why I was so pumped to go to the gym every day after work. I remembered why I wanted to blog about my workouts. I remembered why I wanted to blog about my workouts and my accomplishments. I remembered why I was so excited to talk about my attainable goals. And it got me thinking, this podcast right here, this podcast is my new blog. I can talk freely about this on the podcast. I can reach new people that I want to live a healthy lifestyle or want to get rid of their diabetes like I do. I can talk freely about movies, TV shows, video games, horror movies, glow. I can reach people with this podcast, with this blog. So my goals for next year, and yes, I am the type of person that if I say it on the podcast, it has to happen now because I said it. It's how I felt at the time. It's how I should feel. It's how I should go along with it. My goals for next year: start working out again. I understand someone said start working out now, but my OCD is there. My OCD is saying you can't start in the middle of the year, in the middle of December, in the middle of the week. Start January 1st. Do everything just the same way that the podcast turns 2 years old, January 2nd. At the same time, start there. Do everything I used to do back in 2019, 2020, and 2021. Bring back challenges. Bring back workout challenges. Challenge myself. Challenge others. Challenge to see who else can do it with me. Here's what I have: treadmill, battle ropes, a medicine ball, weight, jump rope, and the floors. I challenge you, the listeners. You're all my accountability partners. I challenge y'all to make me accountable. I challenge y'all to come with me, to join me. I'm coming to you to tell you what I'm going to do. In return, I wanted you to check in on me once in a while. I know who's going to check on me already, but I want you to check on me. I know Menace is going to check in on me. I will have questions, of course. You can answer them if you want. You can message me or answer the podcast email, or just catch me in a stream and tell me there. But this is what I'm planning to do for next year. This is my challenge. These are my goals. These are my plans. This will be my legacy. Welcome back to the podcast. I am your host, Evo, and you are listening to a brand spanking new episode of From Under the Apron. I know I said I was going to take a break, but I couldn't keep away. I have a job to do. This is my job. This podcast. This right here. This is my career now. I blog, I talk, and stream about wrestling, so I need to podcast about it. On this show, I am recapping season 1, episode 8 of Glow on Netflix. Pretty soon, I'm going to talk about wrestling and what is going on, and so I'm excited for that. But I want to get these episodes out because people, that, you know, Menace, mainly Menace. She's the only one watching along with me. Menace has been telling me she loves Glow, and she's now in season 2. Wait for me, ma'am. You can't, no. Hey, calm down. Simmer down a little bit, Menace. I'm not even there yet. But I love to hear that she loves the show because of the recaps I'm doing. So, season 1, episode 8. Maybe it's all the disco. Synopsis. Jenny whips up a party for Sheila's birthday while Sam helps Ruth deal with a new complication in her personal life. Mark changes his tune with Debbie. It was directed by Sean Heater. She is a writer and producer known for Coda in 2021, Orange is the New Black in 2013, and Little America in 2020. The writer for this episode was Nick Jones, who is known for Glow, Orange is the New Black, and Dulo. Guest stars are Rich Summer as Mark Egan, of course, Debbie's husband, and Alex Rich as Florian, Bash's male butler assistant person. There's another guest star, but she's a cameo, and I'll point her out when we get there. The show opens on Sam and Rhonda arriving at the wrestling gym. They're discussing their favorite James Bond actors. Sam likes Roger Lazenby, but Rhonda thinks Roger Moore is by far the best Bond. Lazenby, who played James Bond only once in the film franchise, on Her Majesty's Secret Service in 1969. Roger Moore played Bond in seven films between 1973 and 1979. Sam and Rhonda get out of the car, and he tells her that nobody thinks that, and she says that she does, and he hasn't even seen A View to a Kill. He replies that he saw Moonraker, and there was a pigeon that did a double take. She giggles at the joke. It wasn't a joke. There was a pigeon that did a double take. Like, what the fuck? He asked her to hang back, saying it doesn't look professional if they go in together. She says that it isn't, that they're shagging. And he replied that they need to look professional nevertheless. She asked why she needs to hang back, and he says he's the director and can't be late. So he goes in. Tammy approaches asking what she's doing. Rhonda replies that she's just waiting, that Sam doesn't want them to walk in together. Tammy says she's not touching that one as she walks in through the doors of the gym. Inside the gym, the girls all work out. Debbie's being particularly vigorous with an exercise ball, and Ruth asks if she's okay, if everything is alright with Mark. Vigorous, I love that word. Vigorously. Vigorous workout. With vigor. Such vigor. Debbie says that it's fine, and she's just upset that they didn't get to do the move that they practiced. The moonsault? Was it a moonsault, or was it like a crossbody? It was a crossbody block. Come on. Ruth says she can stay after if she wants to work on it more, but Debbie says that she can't. She says that next time she just won't get distracted. Ruth goes back to working out, but Debbie gives Ruth this annoyed look, like, why are you here? Why are you sitting next to her? Why are you sitting? Why? Debbie just doesn't want to be friends again. Like, you fucked up. Go away. Go somewhere else. Sam interrupts the group and tells them that the match on Friday was a success, and they'll have a butterfly hit if they keep it up. They cheer, and he says there's still stuff to do before the shoot. Carmen asks if they're shooting it there, and he says they're definitely not. He says that he's going today with Bash to look at a venue. It's expensive, but Bash is the one signing the checks. Carmen has this worried look on her face. She knows Bash doesn't have the money anymore, so, might as well speak up now before everything goes to shit. Sam says that today they're going to focus on selling the drama. He tells Fortune Cookie he wants more anger and less swordplay, as he doesn't want it to just be about her prop. But he suggests to Sheila to get some claws. props for her. Melrose thinks that sounds very dangerous. He says yes, very dangerous. He tells Cherry and Tammy that they gave memorable performances and that he was hooked. But there's no world in which the KKK members will be wrestling on television, even cable television. He tells them to get with Don and Stacy and figure out something else. Rhonda finally walks in. Sam looks at his watch and he tells her that she's late. Rhonda looks annoyed as the Glow logo pops up on the screen. In the locker room, Stacy asks Ruth if she has a tampon. Ruth says no. Artie throws one at Stacy, who says it looks like a diaper. Melrose says it's actually a neck brace as she puts it on her neck. Artie tells Stacy she's trying to protect her from toxic shock syndrome. Stacy says she can't move in that thing. Artie says, well, it worked today. She had her in a head scissors. Stacy's disgusted. Melrose gives Stacy one. Rhonda asks for one as well as Reggie. Melrose says that they are on the same cycle and starts drumming with the tampon and singing, they're finally on a team. They're finally on the team. Justine, however, is less than amused and says, Sisters of the Moon rejoice. Ruth just looks uncomfortable. She walks over to Sheila and sees her holding a card. Sheila explains that they are lottery scratch cards for her birthday from her aunt. Jenny comes out of the stall with her sword on her back because, you have to pee in a stall with a sword on her back. Okay. Asking just what it was that she said. Sheila asks her not to make a big deal about it, but Jenny gasps and tells everyone that it's Sheila's birthday. Everyone wishes her a happy birthday. She asks why she didn't say anything. Sheila waves her off, saying that it's fine, everything is fine. Jenny asks her not to let her handle it. Please kill me, says Sheila. Jenny replies that she won't on her birthday and rushes off to start planning a party. All this while Ruth continues to stare at herself in the mirror, wondering if something is wrong with her body. Oh, there's definitely something wrong with your body. You just have to wait and see. Sam calls Florian, asking him if his master is home. Florian replies that he hasn't seen Bash for 3 days. Sam says that he thought it was Florian's job to keep tabs on Bash, but Florian replies that he's just supposed to answer when Bash rings the bell. Nobody's rung it for 3 days. Sam says that if he does ring the bell to tell him he needs to talk to him and hangs up. Ruth comes in. She tells him that what happened during the live performance was a fluke, that she and Devi have been doing great together, and she thinks that they will triumph. Sam says he knows he's met her. Ruth turns to leave, but he asks to talk to her for a second, asking if he and Rhonda are really conspicuous. Conspicuous, right? That's how you say it. She says she's not sure what he means. He explains that normally when he sleeps with an actress, they keep quiet. But she doesn't care and is reckless. Ruth says that with 14 women, everyone talks. Sam curses, saying that he has to break up with her because he feels like he's losing his authority. He asks her to come see his idea for a new venue with her, since Bash is incomunicado. She says she would be honored to be a part of the decision-making process, and he tells her he just needs someone to disagree with that he can clarify his own instincts.
Do you like to drink wine? Do you like to talk about your favorite things and rank them in categories? Then you have come to the right place. Welcome to the Sip List, a podcast where, you guessed it, we drink lots of wine and make lists of all our favorite things. My name's Amanda, and each week my guest and I will review a favorite wine we're drinking, or if they aren't cool enough to drink wine, then the lame beverage of their choice. And then we will rank our top 5 favorites of different things in different categories. You can expect to hear all kinds of things, from favorite horror movies to favorite Disney characters, favorite true crime books to favorite women in history. The episodes will be diverse, but they will always include wine, lists, and lots of laughs. You can find the Sip List on social media. On Facebook, just search the Sip List Pod. Be sure to like the page and join the private Facebook group for the most up-to-date info on everything that's happening. You can also find us on Instagram at the Simplest Pod. I'm really excited to bring you guys some fun and amazing content, and I hope you'll join me on this journey. And until next time, whenever life is tough, just keep sipping.
Hi everyone, I'm Lisa.
And I'm Dawn.
And if you've ever watched a TV show and thought to yourself, oh my god, that season finale plot twist was absolutely bonkers.
Or seen a movie and thought, wow, I need to talk to somebody about this train wreck immediately.
Then we think you'll fit right in with our podcast, I Hate It, Let's Watch It. We watch TV shows like Riverdale and Emily in Paris.
And movies like Deep Water, Killer Sofa, Rubber, and Deadly Illusions. And we give them the total rinsing they deserve.
It's basically group therapy for movie masochists. So come check us out wherever you stream podcasts.
Next scene, Debbie comes home. Mark is feeding baby Randy. She hands Mark the divorce papers that he gave her. She tells him it's signed, sealed, and notarized. Fuck you, have a nice life. Debbie looks at Randy and whispers that she loves him. He tears up the papers, saying he doesn't accept it. She asks how he could not, seeing as he's the one who served her. He says he was freaking out that he couldn't even find her and had to get some power back. She said that it's too late, that she already made another copy and sent it to her lawyer. He says that no lawyer will let her sign a document guaranteeing him 10% of all her future income. He says it was a dramatic gesture and that he also claimed she was having an affair with Burt Reynolds. Baby Randy places a stick of celery in his little tray and he looks horrid with food all over his face. Mark says he never actually intended to hand the papers to her, he just got mad. She says that she's glad they never kept a gun in the house, calling him an immature fuck and please do something about Randy's face. She asks for a paper towel so she can do it herself. She takes away the celery stick, pointing out that Randy has no teeth. He says she's entitled to her anger, explaining that he's been going to therapy twice a week with a cognitive behavior therapist named Linda. He says he's been trying to work on his issues so that she'll consider working on their marriage. He asks her to start by staying for dinner. She says she's not ready to come home, and he tells her he's not asking for that. He says he'll put Randy to bed and even cook. She asks when is that he cooks, and he tells her says his wife left him. Ruth and Sam go to examine the new venue. The promoter, Amber Fredrickson, says that they had sticks canceled at the last minute, though they didn't hear from her. Ruth is stunned by the look of it, and not in a good way. Sam explains that it used to be a porno theater, and Ruth replies that it must have been the golden age of whacking off. She asks if it was Aztec porn, and Amber says it was Mayan, part of the Mayan revival movement during the 20s. Ruth asks if the movement involved blood sacrifice. Amber says that it's $9,000 for the space and she would need $4,500 to hold the booking. She tells them to take their time and walks off. Amber here is played by singer, actress, legendary daughter of Hulk Hogan, star of her own reality show on VH1 in 2008, Brooke Knows Best. She also starred in the 2012 movie Two-Headed Shark Attack and appeared on the Challenge Champ vs. Stars. Ladies and gentlemen, her first studio album, Undiscovered, was released in 2006. It was preceded by the single About Us, which entered the top 40 of the Billboard Hot 100 chart. Brooke Hogan. Brooke freaking Hogan. Ruth comments that the place looked great in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, then does an imitation of Indiana Jones. He asks what's wrong with her, saying she's there as a sounding board. She says it's not what she pictured, and he replies that she's not the director. She asks what it is he's picturing. He explains his vision, saying that he wants to go big and visceral, like a rock concert. He will leave enough room on the side of the stage so he can go in there with the handheld camera so that they can feel the struggle, the drama, the victory, and the defeat. Ruth chimes in with, the glitter! Sam asks if she's making fun of him and she says no. He asks her for her honest opinion and she says it's perfect. Sam says, told you. The theater was actually the host for Lucha Vavoom, which was a wrestling company mixed with burlesque shows. Okay. Not only a wrestling company, it was a luchador wrestling company mixed with burlesque shows. They had high flying luchadores and half naked women. They return to the hotel and Ruth just sits in the car. Sam asks if he's waiting for him to open the door for her, and she tells him that she just doesn't want to face the rest of the day. Rhonda approaches and says that they all have shit they must face. He says there's no point in putting it off, that now is as good a time as any. She tells him not to be mean and get out. He tells Rhonda to get in and they'll take a drive. Ruth goes to a store, picks up a pregnancy test. Holy shit, she's pregnant with Mark. Ruth encounters Melrose, who is looking for tampons. She pretends to be doing the same thing. Melrose asks if she's coming with, and she claims to be looking for a birthday present for Sheila. Melrose quips, maybe deodorant or a free collar. She says she's very bloated. Bye. And walks away. Back at the motel, some of the other girls are getting ready for the party. Jenny talks about how she didn't have birthdays back in Cambodia. Ruth returns asking if Sheila seen the decorations. Jenny says that they don't know where she is, but they'll find her. Ruth goes inside and takes the pregnancy test. It takes 30 minutes, so she has time to kill. It's an 80s pregnancy test, so it looks like a chemistry set with lots of equipment. Ugh, what a project. I just know now you have to pee on a stick and find out in minutes, right? Is that a thing? This little project had its own music montage playing Under Pressure by Queen and David Bowie. Ruth getting confused over the instructions that look like a map. Um, Sheila comes in and she tells her that everyone's looking for her. Sheila says that she knows, and that's why she was in the woods, or at least the junkyard with Shrubbery. She plans to sleep there, if only she can find her toothbrush. Ruth runs to the bathroom, saying she forgot to flush. She tells Sheila that she's never seen Jenny this determined about anything. That is a new and terrifying side. Ruth flushes the toilet and looks at the chemistry set, waiting for results. Sheila compares Jenny to perfume people at the mall. As Jenny bangs on the door outside, Ruth finds out that the pregnancy test is, in fact, positive. The baby belongs to Mark. Jenny begs Ruth to tell Sheila to go to her party, and Ruth tells Sheila that she should go, that it'll be fun. Sheila agrees to go if Ruth will. Jenny asks if Ruth is indeed going. She finally comes out of the bathroom, saying that she is, of course, going. They all leave, and Ruth sits down nervously. Sheila comes back in, asking if she really is coming. Ruth tells her she's right behind her. Sheila closes the door, and another shot of Ruth in anxiety mode. Next scene, Sam and Rhonda just finished having sex. I was close. I was going to say Sonda. Ram. Alright, whatever. Next scene, Sam and Rhonda just finished having sex. He says it's like a murder scene under his sheets, and he'll have to dock her paycheck. She tells him that she can never tell when he's kidding or just being mean. He says he can't either, and she tells him that she feels like it isn't working. He says it's fantastic that she's going to do it for him. She starts to get dressed in her fancy going out attire. He says he knows that she was just shagging him because she wanted things like a bigger part and a horse. She tells him that she wasn't, saying that she did want a horse, but it wasn't why she was shagging him. It was supposed to be fun, but he's always paranoid. She thought he was sweet, smart, funny, and sexy after seeing his dating video. He asked how she saw that, and she says there was a screening with the girls. He gets out of bed and asks if they can reset, if she really does like him, and she tells him she's not a robot, that she can be rebooted. He asks if she wants to go over his bad history with women. She tells him that she has to go, that it's Sheila's birthday. He says he'll go with her and get a cake. She tells him that he doesn't actually like her, that he's just afraid to be alone. He asks what she means. He just had period sex with her. She leaves. Oh my god. The next scene, the girls at her rolling skating rink. Ruth tells Sheila that sometimes you just have to trick yourself into believing you're having a good time. If you pretend you're having the best time in the world, then maybe you will. They head to the floor, Cherry skating by and telling them to not be scared. They head onto the rink. Carmen is sulking and Stacy asks if she's upset about the match, telling her that they're there to have fun. Sheila leads us group, smiling. She howls, starting to get into things. Everyone howls along. Ruth stands at the edge of the rink watching the group. She watches as a mom is teaching her young son how to skate and feels bad. She stumbles out, and Rhonda, just arriving, asks if she's leaving. Ruth says that she's not feeling well, that maybe it was all the curly fries. Rhonda suggests that it could be all the disco, or maybe she's pregnant. Ruth chuckles weakly. Cherry says that she's glad nobody sprained their ankles, that usually athletes get injured after practice from goofing off. Carmen replies that they're not athletes. Cherry asks how she's in a better mood than her. She says there are a bunch of girls making a wrestling show that's probably not going to happen. Cherry asks why they would be, and Carmen points out that sometimes shows just don't get on the air or there are problems with money. Cherry asks if there are problems with money. Hey, it's Evo. We're going to get back to the episode you're listening to, but first, let me tell you about Dark Fate Creations. Dark Fate Creations are candles that are vibrant, colorful, marble tops, amazing, mouth-watering fragrances, fueled by lovely braided cotton wicks. Paper threads woven into every cotton wick for a clean, romantic, slow, and consistent burn. Each candle is unique from the next as they are hand-mixed and hand-poured right in Grass Valley, California. They use only coconut and soy waxes for a safer, cleaner, and longer burn time. That's almost 72 hours. That's like binging on all 130 episodes of the podcast. All fragrance blends have been heavily researched. Dark Fate Creations not only care about the look, fragrance, and quality of their candles and their other products, but also the effects they have in their customers' homes. So go to darkfatecreations.com. The link will be in the show notes.
In a world where true crime meets the supernatural and the unexplained,
where true crime and chills go hand in hand.
Welcome to Total Conundrum, the podcast that explores the dark, the eerie, and the downright mysterious.
Join us as we embark on a spine-tingling journey through the mysteries that keep you up at night.
We're diving deep into true crime stories, uncovering the most baffling cases, and exploring the twisted minds behind them.
But we don't stop there. We're also exploring the paranormal, from haunted houses to cryptids and all the creepy things that go bump in the night. Get ready for some supernatural thrills.
And what sets us apart? Prepare for a dose of dark humor as we navigate through the creepy and bizarre.
We've got it all. Bone-chilling tales, banter, and mind-boggling conundrums. You won't know whether to scream or laugh.
So grab your favorite snack, turn down the lights, and join us for a roller coaster ride of true crime and the supernatural, sprinkled with a bit of comic banter.
Stay curious, stay captivated, and let's dive into the world of Total Conundrum.
Now available on your favorite podcast platform. Get ready to be captivated, creeped out, and cracked up with Total Conundrum.
Movies and feelings. Pop, pop. Bring Your Own Popcorn is a podcast that dives into people and the movies who love them. Let us preach to your choir or stoke your ire as we spiral down memory lane with cult classics, Jurassics, and other genres that rhyme with traffic. What we lack in education, we make up for with comedy, compassion, and camaraderie. I'm your host, Mixtape Majesty, inviting you to join me and an assortment of wonderful guests on fine podcast apps everywhere. Bring your own popcorn.
Melrose says that she's horrified the ring doesn't have a bar, as if they can't skate and drink at the same time. Cherry comments that Melrose can barely skate sober. Jenny brings up a birthday cake with 106 on it. She asks where the birthday girl is, but Sheila's still in the rink, skating her heart out. Jenny shouts out that it's time for the cake, but Sheila waves her off. Reggie realizes that 106 is Sheila's age in dog years, calling it thoughtful and weird. Stacy says that it's actually wolf years, and Dawn agrees that if she were a dog, she'd be 87. Wolves die young. Jenny shouts for Sheila again, and Tammy tells her to let her skate, that she's having a happy birthday. She did her job. So Jenny blows out the candles herself. Back at Debbie's, Mark is finishing off a salad. She asks if this is part of her new him or just another gesture to show he's capable of change. He says he's on a diet, which started last week. She says she is too, one that started when she was 14. She asks what she did to make him hate her. He says he doesn't. She asks what it was she did in that case to make space in the relationship for him to sleep with someone else. He says that she stopped sleeping with him or even talking with him. It's not an excuse, but he remembers thinking how many days she can go without touching him or asking how her day was. It was 42 days. She replies that she just had a baby and he says that this was way before Randy. She asks why they started a family if they were so miserable. He says that they thought they could make things better and he thinks they still can. She sobs and sniffles. He asks her to hug her. He asks her to hug him, but she says she won't let him. He says that it's therapeutic lean that his therapist taught it to him. She asked why he was hugging. She asked why he was hugging his therapist. Weird. He answers because it helps. They try it. He says they're supposed to do it for 30 seconds at a time, 3 times a day. She tells him not to push his luck. Back at her motel, Ruth makes a call. She tells the person on the other end of the line that she's sorry to bother them, but she didn't know who else to call. She waits outside the motel, and Sam pulls up. She gets in. She has a small drag of Sam's cigarette. He tells her that he broke up with Rhonda, that it seemed to be the right thing to do. He says he tried to be nice about it, but she got emotional. They just sit in silence. They arrive at a Planned Parenthood clinic where Ruth has a 10 a.m. appointment. The secretary says that the doctor will answer any questions her boyfriend might have, and Sam claims that he's not her boyfriend. He's her husband. He says it just wasn't the right time for them. He could have pulled out, but he just got lazy. He says it's lucky they both had children. Fuck them kids, right? She tells him to have a seat. Ruth says she's sure it's not how he wanted to spend his morning. He says he'll go get donuts while she's in there. She asks for pink frosting. He asks if she's 12. She says she's like pink frostings. He says if she likes pink things a little less, maybe they wouldn't be there right now. He says he feels like he's supposed to ask her if this is what she wants as her husband. She nods, saying that that it's not the right time, not the right name, not the right baby. Her name is called and she tells him not to come back without donuts. He says he'll wait, that she can pick them out herself. She puts on her Zoya gimmick, saying that in the Soviet Union, abortion is the only thing there's no line for. He smirks. She smiles back. He sits down reading a magazine. She goes inside and has a procedure as the doctor asks her questions if this is what she truly wants, and if she's comfortable with the decision to end her pregnancy. Ruth says yes. The doctor tells her that she's going to give her an injection next to her cervix that will numb her uterus and she will start to feel a little pressure. The doctor asks Ruth if this makes sense, and Ruth quietly replies that she's a wrestler. The doctor questions it. Ruth replies back with yes, she understands. Ruth looks up at the ceiling trying to relax, and it's the last shot you see as the episode ends. She's a wrestler. What she means by that is she's bumping. She's been bumping. She's been fucking bumping for several weeks now. That she's numb to the pain. She enjoys the pain. She's used to the pain by now. So, you might as well just inject that thing. It's like it's not gonna hurt with what I've been through. She can take on an injection to her cervix, right? Uh, but that last shot of her looking up at the ceiling with one square of it that looks like clouds kind of felt like heavenly, while everything else was white. I didn't want to say this at the start of the show because it felt it would have spoiled it with Ruth going to the clinic and having an abortion. But I thought this episode was a good episode, a good moment to recognize that this isn't what she needs, because it's from Mark, and that was her best friend's husband. It would be something if Debbie ended up finding out about the baby and the abortion and how she would feel about both. I've only seen this episode once when it came out, but recently I'm watching them twice. The first one is my initial reaction, the second one is anything I might have missed. The first time around in 2017, I didn't even realize Amber was played by Brooke Hogan because she looks so different with that hair. Same with Carlito and his hair. Like, what the hell? They're like 80s version of themselves. I love it. I love rewatching these and then looking up what the actresses have to say about the first season and how they enjoy the show. So more of that will be coming soon. Next episode will probably be towards the end of the year, and we'll probably just talk about wrestling one more time. I'll have a special guest, one that hasn't been on the show yet. So it's going to be an interview and the year in review. So I'm very excited about that. As always, follow us on our socials to support us from Under the Apron on Instagram, the Thread, the YouTube, apron_stories on the Twitter. Catch us live streaming on an app near you. More info on the links on where you can listen or watch in the show notes. Listen to us on Apple, Spotify, or any other media you can listen to podcasts on. Don't forget to rate us and leave us a review. And if you feel you want to do a little bit more, go to patreon.com/, From Under the Apron Podcast. Support us on the Patreon. Become top tier patron and get patron privileges. And I will shout you out at the end of every episode. Like Babel B, Menace Smiling, Damien H. from the Life of a 30-Year-Old Podcast, Chanel from the Nerds in Texas Podcast, Cloudy November from the No is a Sentence Podcast, I Beloved Sly from the Sweet Life Pod. I'll have the link to these podcasts in the show notes so you can all check them out. I love them. Mini Mommy Dancer, Little Monster Atlas, The Wee Daddy, OMG is Ren, Hannah Time, Celestial Moon Goddess, Toasted Bagel, Lisa's Journey, Age of Shadow, Marijuana Barbie, Queen of the Underworld, Wow Stark, Little Miss Confidence, Greenery, Hey, It's Me, Your Favorite Chick, Jada Samia, Kit Kat 222, Narcissus, Princess in the Weed, Dalo 17, Baby XOXO, Tiana Taylor, Sadho the Goddess, Pixie Ocean Dust, Jenna Tolles, again with that name, Mighty Sovereign, I Drink Boy Tears, Starlit Sky, Shaggy Rogers of Stoner, Don't Mind, Sunshine Soul Vibe, Mocha Fawn, Screw Vault, or Lady with the Pretty Green Eyes, Big Dan 26, Liz Moon, Made Mystic 444, Casey's Dream Life, D Danielle, Noka Kimoka Killer Maid. Let's try saying that. Strawberry Milk, Cookie Monster Kalani, La Chica 2332, Jenna Lynn Vegan, The Rowdy House Cat, Moonlight Faye, Double Mint Bitch, Datterall, Asha the Vampire Princess, Ionic James, Pull Fire Mark, Eternal 420, Healing Love Fairy, I Got Issues, Frenchie, Scotty Does Know, Audacious Ducky, Catastrophe, and NorCal Blondie. Thank you guys for supporting the podcast. Patreon.com/, From the Apron Podcast. Get your name shouted out. Support the podcast. Check out the show notes for links to other podcasters that you heard on this episode. Send us a message of your favorite wrestling stories, questions, comments, ratings, or requests at our email. It is FromUnderTheApron@gmail.com. Thank you for listening, joining the live, and being a huge part of this community. Tell your friends. Join us next time for more behind-the-scenes stories, movies, and TV show reviews when we come to you from Under the Apron. I'm Evil, I'm proud of y'all, and I love your faces.